I would just embrace it and own it, because you get much more benefit from it than you would if you tried anything else. So yeah, keep it, own it.
Love the hacker.
Love Rick. All right. Okay, second point. What positive activity has the hacker community had to date? Okay, this is over the last 20 years. What are the good things that come out of groups like this that have gotten together under a similar context for the last umpteen years, be it the old school phone freakers or all the hacker scenes that were around in the 90s, or this pseudo professional thing we have going on today? What positive things have occurred, and have the positive things outweighed the negative things that have come out of this scene? Scientology got really worried.
All right, yeah. Yeah, so let's put whitehouse.com at the top of that list. It's sort of like hacktivism and porn come together, and I think that's a powerful thing, I guess.
Responses to debunk keys, how do you mean? Manufacturers are aware of the threat. So
are the kids that didn't know how to use it before? I mean, I got to play devil's advocate, right? I mean, because we're going to run into this inevitably. Yeah, there are people that now have defensive knowledge about, preventing bump attacks and what locks are prone to it, but you have a whole class of people that now know how to do it that didn't know how to do it before. So I just want to diffuse that whole thing, because that's going to be everything that we mention here, you can torque to being a bad thing.
Knowledge is power. It's whether you actually put it into motion.
Can we just go in the audience at this point?
Yeah, I know. Take the cameras out in the audience, let people talk.
The one thing that got me going on this, and that's obviously fairly recent, it was the Sony rootkit. Here's Dan Kaminsky standing up right there. In November 2005, I mean, that was the event that had gotten me looking at the hacker community, and I think that's significant. And I think, for me, it's that kind of watchdog role that is the most positive thing that, maybe not the most, but one of the most positive things that the hacker community can contribute, and there's a lot of different ways that happens. But I think, you look at voting machines, both, and I know the hacker community in the Netherlands is big into that, and we've got a lot of people in this country who are big into that, and I think that's hugely important. And if you were to look at big media exposures of the word hacking, it was HBO's Hacking Democracy. I mean, I say I'm going to a HackerCon, and I've had dozens of people say, hey, did you see that Hacking Democracy thing on HBO? Is that the kind of thing you're talking about? So I think there's that aspect to it, and I think more of that would be better.
Mr. Kaminsky.
Good crypto e-commerce didn't come by accident. Someone had to Dan Bernstein had to go ahead, fight through the courts, Bill Zimmerman to go ahead, get PGP out there, so that we could actually have good cryptography on every browser on the planet. The reason you get to buy stuff on the internet and the reason you get to work from home over a VPN is because at the end of the day, hackers said, no, this crypto is too easy to break. If you do this, you're going to lose.
All right.
Well, I just want to say that we're talking about what are some positive things that come out, but I wanted to open it up to the reverse. What are some negative things? What's not working? Because we look at this conference today, and just be honest, every single talk is not going to get the press it probably deserves, and every single issue that gets raised here and at other conferences they go unheard. So how do you create a marketing machine to battle up against the public's media? Credit cards. That'll get you front pages. Google will get you front pages, but obscure VoIP stuff that nobody really wants to talk about right now, that's important. How do you get that into the media, and how do you spin that into a positive thing and make the community more a reliable source of forcing change? That's my question I have.
Well, I can talk a little bit to that, again, because of press stuff, and I've worked, and there's probably some press here that I've actually worked with before. And that is, if you're giving talks, or if you end up coming in contact with the press, I mean, follow up with these people, give them feedback on how accurate or inaccurate their articles are. If you see articles that are online or even print media, go ahead and or television, whatever, contact these people and let them know and try to put it in plain terms that they can understand where they got it wrong and how potentially damaging it is not only to the people like us that in most cases are providing free R&D, but also to say, look, you're providing potentially inaccurate information that is going to cause other people out there who don't know better to potentially put themselves in a risk situation when they think they're being protected.
And I want to add to that and say that, you know, reporters, especially in the technology beat and the science beat and stuff, are covering a lot of things. And so if you can be the nice guy and call your local paper and say, hey, I'm an expert on this. Let me tell you this thing that you maybe got a little wrong in your article, and next time you do something, give me a call. Put my name in your Rolodex. And that's how reporters do their business, and that's, I think, something that all of you can do. Anytime you see something, reach out. There's actually a book by the editors of Scientific American that just came out, and I can't remember the title, about media outreach for scientists, and I think almost anything in that would apply to hackers as well, and it might be something y'all might want to take a look at.
Yeah, one thing to keep in mind, too, when you're doing this with reporters and stuff, you can even tell them, and they'll appreciate this very much so, tell them, say, and I do this all the time, and I mean, I know I get quoted a lot, and people call me a media whore, which they're probably right.
You call yourself that, by the way.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I do call myself.
You can just drop the first name.
Yeah. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, no problem.
But nonetheless, you say, look, I'll talk to you on background, meaning that you're not going to be quoted in the article. Just say, I will help you. I mean, if you're going to take the time to do this free R&D and, you know, talk about this stuff at cons or share it with your friends on mailing lists or whatever, go ahead and take the time, contact these reporters and say, look, I don't even necessarily need to be quoted. Just if you've got a question where you don't understand some technological thing, you can use me as a resource to do background for you, and I can explain it to you and help perhaps put it in terms that you can understand.
That's good
All right,
advice.
so
There's a question in the back. Someone's been very...
I'm moderating! Sorry. There we go. All right.
I'm sorry. That's going in a video clip. So.
Yes.
I'd like to see a T-shirt of that, actually. I think that would be really good.
My God. All right, I'm trying to accomplish something here, so I'm going to go ahead and do it. We got kind of three things that we've touched on there, and I think these are three threads I've seen a couple of times. One, the hacker community serves an oversight and public awareness role that isn't otherwise served. If you look at how do you hold a vendor, hardware, software vendor, whatever, accountable for the security of their systems, right? Is there something in the contract with the end user license agreement that says this thing doesn't suck? No. Do people stop buying it if it doesn't suck? Generally not. Do we want the government regulating it not to suck? No. Like, government regulates technology. Technologists get pissed off. It doesn't matter what they what they were trying to do. They usually screw it up pretty badly. And so the hacker community ends up in this oversight role and holds vendors accountable. And then we also kind of help make the public aware. So the second thing is this public awareness and resource for the public at large and reporters and other people that are writing about this to help them understand what's really at the crux of these issues. You know, we serve as resources. You're surprised how many people in this room have talked to reporters about things or even get asked by, you know, their professors or whatever, hey, what's this security thing all about? Tell me more about it. And serving to educate people at large because education is the way you solve security problems. And the third thing is really helping push the bar forward with improving technology. Okay, that was the thing that Dan, who's now I guess left, brought up. Was, you know, people here, you know, as Johnny points out, are inventors. You know, and we invent new ways to break stuff, and we invent new ways to make it secure. And we are doing free R&D for the product companies and the service companies of the world. You know, all the talks that we're giving here, there are companies that are going to take this information and they'll have some consultant in the field in a week using it and making more money off of what we're doing. So our free R&D is helping making things better in the future. So I see those as the three major points. Sir?
I just wanted to make an observation about the good versus bad.
Okay.
It's the nature of people that bad is sexy. And if you're in a environment where you draw some attention, so whether it's politics, religion, or hackerdom, the bad things are even sexier. And so the number of people who go into the field and do good doesn't get reported, but the pedophile priests do.
Right.
We have to realize that the cards are stacked against us anyway.
Right, absolutely. And that's a fantastic point. And is Beetle still here somewhere? No. Beetle and I used to give a number of wireless security talks together, and we would always try to have this point counterpoint. Like, he would do the attack stuff, the bad things, and I would do the